I'm Sandra Rupp. I was placed on the Thinkers 50 Guru Radar list for the world's top business thinkers, and today I'm applying for a job at the Financial Times or any other major newspaper, television network. Make it a little more glamorous and a little more interesting. We're number one on happiest and healthiest U.S. city. We're number one on environment. We have the best beaches. I'd be happy to open up the Florida office. Between Palm Beach and Naples and Miami, we've got a lot going on down here in South Florida. I have the vision, the strategy, that's what I'm good at. And I always learned, you gotta go where the power is. Lionel Barber is amazing, Paul Murphy. I like to read 25 global publications and news sources and YouTube videos and figure out the pulse of what's going on in the marketplace. And that led me to the video work. And my first video was actually for the World Economic Forum, and I'm extroverted enough to be fun at a cocktail party and get the scoop and get the news and go to the balls at Buckingham Palace. Given that I was a management consultant for all those years, I've worked in the media and television business, and it's just now all coming together that I need to be an editor or a general manager of some sort. 98th percentile on the LSAT. Did the GMAT, way up there. I know this is about making money for the owners over in Japan. I really want to interview people on camera, CEOs, leaders, especially at Davos and Cannes Lions and Bilderberg. After all, Florida tends to elect the president. On Forbes.com, I've been interviewed by a Wall Street Journal reporter for a book. Really interesting women should be brought into the Financial Times franchise, if you will. I'm a very creative person, right-brain thinker, Thomas Edison, and a little bit of Princess Diana. We tend to see the future before others. I did predict the election of Donald Trump. I predicted Brexit. I predicted Imran Khan. I'd love to interview Imran in person for the Financial Times. And Boris Johnson, I actually predicted he would become the Prime Minister who would negotiate Brexit. You've always done great videos. I've been an editor of newsletters, blogs, video. Leaders with daughters have always thought, gosh, she's got a lot to offer. I'd like to give a warm welcome to my viewers in 168 countries and majored in history, which I think is a great major. I also minored in English. I had to travel over to London and actually write an honors thesis on the fall of the British Empire. I remember meeting a gentleman named Professor Alan Scad at the time. And anyway, I sat in the House of Lords Records office and wrote the thesis and graduated with honors from a top liberal arts college here in the United States. My first job was actually as a project director, consulting to brand managers at the major consumer packaged goods companies. I studied at Oxford for a semester, international business. And then I came back to work on my MBA at Northwestern at the Kellogg School, which was ranked number one. I got into those Ivy Leagues. I majored in marketing. I was head of the Media and Communications Club at Kellogg. And I actually co-chaired my 20th year reunion. This is like a video resume. Then moved back to New York, and I worked for the gentleman who created Entertainment Tonight, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and Star Search. Al Massini was president of TPE, Television Program Enterprises, owned by Cox Communications. And it was an amazing experience to work with one of the most creative men in the media industry anywhere. I've always worked hard, no matter what job I've done. But I also think that sometimes the best talent for a position like editor comes from a different industry. I decided to go to an executive recruiting firm, and they ended up hiring me and said, why don't you come work on Park Avenue in the executive search business? And I rose to managing director, worked at 3 very prominent firms, and I basically got the corner office and learned about how to interview, how to identify top talent. Traveled in some very interesting circles out in Locust Valley and Oyster Bay. And after the economic crash came, I had played bridge with the big boys, the CEOs. I mean, they played on the 4th floor. I was, in the townhouse at the Regency West Club on 67th between Madison and 5th. I was on the board of governors, so I did mix with them, for the meetings when they wanted to bring in their candidate to be admitted to the club. Sometimes they had to interview with me. I decided that I wanted to move into something more challenging. So I got into executive coaching, and it really became an interesting experience because I realized that a lot of men in particular at the highest levels don't want to be coached by a female executive coach, like face to face. I thought, well, what can I do to create change much more quickly? I do a combination of videos, I have a YouTube channel, and Young and Rubicon helped me a little bit with my original concept video. Fast forward today, I believe that I am the next Barbara Walters as an example, and having a pulse on what people are really interested in reading about, and also how to create a better world. I could report on the CEOs and what they need to improve on at Davos, new allegations of Me Too and Time's Up moments. We want to make sure that we value the women and children of every country. And I think that the feminine leader voice needs to help do that. We also have some issues in the media business. Charlie Rose, I have met Charlie, and I haven't met Pierce, but he and I have collaborated on Augusta for my thought leadership on the yin yang of leadership, invested in the feminine leadership style. I actually have drafted a business plan. It was originally designed to be kind of like the Oprah for careers. And I believe that I have an amazing future ahead with the Financial Times or some other major publication. I love British publications. Could be a television network as well. Having you get another 1 million subscribers. I just lost my dear father in December, and Dad was CEO of a broadcasting company, and I inherited some of his skills. I've got the talent. It's almost like there's a new world order being created. I'm Sandra Rupp. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. Love you all.